I love New Orleans. Being in the military, I had a chance to travel all over the world, but there's no place like home.
New Orleans is different. It has always been different before Hurricane Katrina than any other city in the world.
What allowed New Orleans to be what it is today is the tremendous numbers of volunteers that came from all over this nation to help rebuild.
I came to New Orleans originally to volunteer for a couple of days. Had you told me in 2005 or 6 that we would still be here doing this work in 2025, I wouldn't have believed you, but here we are.
I used my VA home loan to buy my very first house. I had the perfect house, the perfect family, the perfect job, but unfortunately, I came home just in time for Hurricane Katrina.
So Broadmoor and Lower Ninth Ward, despite having very different kind of cultural histories and demographic histories, both ended up with equivalent, if not equal, quantities of water pushed in by Katrina from 2 different sources, one from the east, one north from Lake Pontchartrain.
We are the lowest part of the city. So Broadmoor, meaning a lot of water really, we are at the bottom, and New Orleans being a bowl, we are at the bottom of the bowl.
I've grown up in Broadmoor. My family has always been invested in Broadmoor. My grandmother purchased her home here. We do have resources in this community that many other communities don't have.
I think that one of the things is that Broadmoor the community was pretty well organized, and we had resources. We had resources like the Lower Nine does not have still. I'd lived in New Orleans for, at that point, almost 60 years. We knew that when we bought the house that it had flooded. It flooded a month after we moved in, but it was only about 4 inches of water. I thought we can live with that. We'll just keep our things raised up. We decided after watching the news that we should leave. We figured 2 or 3 days, extra underwear, that's just about all you need.
Storm passed, we came back home. The city was in ruins. It looked like a movie. Lots of mud, lots of downed trees. Now granted, the city was closed, but evacuating can be costly for a large family, so we came back home and noticed the water rushing up the street and soon had to evacuate again. By the time we evacuated, we were walking in water up to my neck.
Katrina floodwaters rose in the city fully 2 days after the storm had passed. I was here. I was biking around, checking things out. Under clear blue skies, almost into Wednesday afternoon, water was still rising.
After Hurricane Katrina, the city took a map of the city, and the city planners put a green dot on every place they weren't going to invest in to rebuild. And Broadmoor was one of them. To the community of Broadmoor, the people of Broadmoor, the residents said, we're going to fight for our community. We want it to be rebuilt. And that's what the community did. Church took 2 years to recover.
Broadmoor looks almost the same as before Katrina. We have a few more houses that are now 3 stories. For the most part, houses look the same.
It's helpful to think of urban risk as being a function of 3 phenomena, okay? One is the nature of the hazard itself. The second is human exposure to that hazard. The third one is vulnerability. When you look at those 3 variables and you map them out, you start to see, unfortunately, rhyme and reason of why certain neighborhoods came back faster than others.
As you cross over that Claiborne Bridge, it's like in another world. Growing up in the Lower Ninth Ward, it was like one big giant family. I remember as a little kid, all this was houses. And it shouldn't look like this. It still should not be like this. I had 30 plus neighbors pre-Katrina. Today I have 4.
Unfortunately, in a low-wealth Black neighborhood that was affected by a staggering number of impediments to recovery, we are still struggling and continue to struggle. In this neighborhood, the percentage of residential properties that were rendered uninhabitable was 100. Despite the demographic population of this neighborhood being low wealth, we had one of the highest rates of Black homeownership in the nation prior to Katrina. To date, the true population return in this community is about 30%, which is significantly lower than other communities around the city of New Orleans. Prior to Katrina, the population of this neighborhood was 98.1% Black. More than 40% of the population lived below the poverty line. More than 60% lived below the average mean income. Trying to help those folks get back on their feet after a disaster of the magnitude of Hurricane Katrina is a colossal challenge, as it turns out, and one that lasts quite a long time.
I came back 2007, 2008, and I started to rebuild my own personal house. We didn't have nothing back here. No grocery stores, no mom and pop stores, no clinics, no dentists, nothing. We had nothing at all. You should not have to catch a cab or catch three city buses to get a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk to feed your family. I did my research and I found out what a food desert was. And I said, no, this is not a third world country. And I came across this Katrina dilapidated 2-story, holes in the walls, mold infested building. I was so excited. I called up everybody and said, I want to open up a grocery store. Everybody told me I was crazy. Now everybody told me not to do it. In this building here, we have a barber shop, a hair salon, a snowball stand, grocery store, and believe it or not, even a laundromat. This is still the only grocery store in this part of town. This is it.
Lower9.org has fully built or rebuilt 98 homes. We've done repair and renovation work on over 400 more residential properties around the neighborhood. So we've had a real impact here, and that is the mission of this organization, is to bring as many families home as possible.
At a cost of $14.5 billion, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has substantially upgraded the defenses that we have to another Katrina-like event. And they take various forms. And so all of this gives us a much higher level of protection.
We put solar panels on the church, and so now when the power goes out in the community, we're able to open up as a cooling center, or able to open up to charge people's batteries so they can keep in touch with their loved ones in storms like Hurricane Katrina. Most of the people that are here because they want to be here, because they believed in this city, because they're dedicated, they love this city.
My heart is in Broadmoor because of everything my grandmother had to do to join this community.
It took me 4 years to turn this into this. 4 years. Do I have any regrets? No. I still remember the smells, the sounds, the emotions, because it was just devastating. Even though it's been 20 years, it seemed like it was yesterday. This is home. The Lower Ninth Ward is home, sweet home. If Katrina can't scare me, nothing will.